This stuff is, it's putting LeBron in a bad space. Listen, here's the good news. It's time to move off LeBron at some point in the next calendar year. And LeBron's never been loyal to team.
For years, the media moved like a 24/7 security squad for LeBron James. Any criticism got swatted away. Every failure got rebranded, and every mistake somehow landed on somebody else's shoulders. But now that shield in Los Angeles is cracking wide open. The walls that protected the king are shaking.
LeBron's been great for players. Tiger Woods was great for golf. LeBron's been great for NBA player empowerment. Is he good for the ratings? Well, Lakers still get a lot of ratings when they play the Warriors every Christmas or near then. But it's easier to move off somebody that's moved off multiple teams. LeBron is a businessman at this point first. And a basketball player, I know, keep the thing. But for his entire career, he's a basketball guy that did business. LeBron now is kind of a business guy who's still pretty good at basketball. But moving off him's not difficult. The agent's talking. They're a worse team defensively when he's on the floor. He's not always available. You can be a credit to the game, and it can be time. But part of me thinks the Lakers sold this because the discomfort of the LeBron exit. LeBron's exit, he's been exiting his entire career. He exited from Cleveland, his hometown, twice. Pat Riley. And remember, when he chose the Lakers, they stunk. He didn't choose the best basketball team. He chose the best economy in the country.
And the noise coming out of Hollywood isn't applause anymore. It's frustration. You've got whispers about tension around Jeannie Buss, reports of impatience inside the building, and then a major national voice flipping his whole stance on live radio. The storyline is switching up faster than one of LeBron's chase down blocks. The same city that rolled out the red carpet is now giving the whole operation the side eye. Let's be honest for a second. Did LeBron James really save the Los Angeles Lakers, or did he cash in one quick parade and leave the franchise juggling aging contracts and thin draft assets? That's the question people avoided for years. Now it feels like the sky is falling in Tinseltown, and for once, the media isn't sprinting in with ready-made excuses. For a long time, the message was simple. LeBron rescued the Lakers, pulled them out of irrelevance, revived a legendary brand. But this isn't some struggling expansion team looking for attention. This is the Lakers. 17 banners, decades of dominance, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant. This franchise wasn't sitting in the dark waiting for a savior. It needed stability, smart planning, and long-term vision.
Comments that came out about some of the sentiments that Jeannie Buss had towards LeBron James, like her feeling like he wasn't grateful that they drafted Bronny. She didn't like the fact how he tried to avoid blame and take responsibility for the Russell Westbrook debacle. She begrudgingly gave him a second contract. The only reason she gave him a contract extension because she didn't want the PR blowback. She thought his ego was outside. It was just a bunch of stuff.
Now, let's talk about Colin Cowherd. If you followed sports media over the last decade, you know Colin consistently backed LeBron. He argued hard that LeBron passed Michael Jordan in the GOAT debate, a take that set the internet on fire every single time. He defended the team switches, he defended the influence, he defended the power moves. But now, even Colin is blinking. And when someone that invested years defending the narrative starts raising an eyebrow, that's not random chatter. That's a shift. He's looking at what's happening in Los Angeles and basically saying the quiet part out loud.
The Derek Jeter situation. This is not Magic or Kobe. LeBron's easier to move off. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship. His net worth has almost doubled since he came to LA. He came to LA for basketball, 60%, and business, 40%. I mean, he kept the thing, by about year 2. His net worth is almost doubled. Net worth. He's expensive. He's not always available. He's not the player he once was. Lakers are so bad defensively, and statistically, they're worse when he's on the floor. So I've said it forever. Really, really confident, successful men are bad at exits.
The Lakers have a right to feel frustrated. The roster feels boxed in. The future feels foggy. The expectations are sky high, but the results don't match the noise. And when longtime defenders start sounding skeptical, you know something serious is brewing. It took this long for someone in national media to say it straight. Colin dropped the polite tone and called it what it is. LeBron isn't loyal in the traditional sense. He moves when it benefits him. Period. This isn't Derek Jeter staying in one uniform his whole career.
Remind you, the Lakers had really regressed to I would never say irrelevancy because we're talking about the purple and gold. We're talking about one of the greatest basketball franchises, one of the top 2 basketball franchises in sports annals. There's no doubt about it. But the other side to it is that LeBron did resurrect the Los Angeles.
This isn't Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant tying their entire legacy to one city. LeBron's career has been strategic and calculated. He didn't choose Los Angeles because of childhood dreams about Showtime banners. He chose Los Angeles because it's the entertainment capital of the world. Business ventures, production deals, brand expansion, that infrastructure was already built and waiting. And here's the tension nobody likes to admit. The business side is booming, but the basketball side, that part feels unstable. Colin's breakdown wasn't emotional. It was numbers driven. He pointed out defensive slippage when LeBron is on the floor.
There was a big story from Baxter Holmes, ESPN, detailing some of the strife inside the Laker organization. Jeannie Buss, who I've always liked, some felt a little disrespected by LeBron James. LeBron didn't take, responsibility for the Westbrook move. I talked about that over and over and over. LeBron wanted that move. It was a disaster. Now Westbrook and LeBron don't get along, whatever. But I read the story. I'd heard about half of these rumors, maybe 75% of these rumors. Baxter Holmes has a history of getting stuff right. Jeannie Buss is now saying, this stuff is, it's putting LeBron in a bad space. Listen, here's the good news. It's time to move off LeBron at some point in the next calendar year. And LeBron's never been loyal to team.
He talked about availability. He mentioned the financial weight of a max contract at this stage of a career. Those aren't personal shots. That's roster math. Then there's the player empowerment era. The lines between front office decisions and superstar influence are blurry now. When an agent is openly discussing roster direction on podcasts, that's not subtle. That's visible leverage. And when leverage doesn't translate into consistent wins, tension builds fast. Colin even called the Lakers a mirage. The record can look solid on certain nights, but the blowout losses tell a different story. Rim protection, questionable. Long-term flexibility, limited.
The other thing is, look under the hood. The Lakers are a mirage. They're 26-16. But 15 of their 16 losses, they've gotten blown out. They're great in clutch games because they have a really smart head coach, but they're not in that many clutch games. They're horrible defensively. It's a 3-and-D league, and they don't have enough of either. No rim protection, not very athletic. This is a Luka, J.J. Redick, and maybe Austin Reeves franchise going forward. So if you look under the hood, they're a mile from San Antonio and Oklahoma City and Minnesota and Houston.
Comparing their trajectory to younger teams like the Detroit Pistons isn't flattering. That's a sharp pivot from someone who once defended LeBron at every turn. And then you've got the other side. Enter Stephen A. Smith. Watching Stephen A. respond to reports that Jeannie Buss might be losing patience felt intense. Instead of doubling down on accountability, he pivoted right back to the old script, the LeBron saved the franchise narrative, like it was 2020 all over again. Resurrected the Lakers? That's a heavy word. Yes, they were rebuilding after Kobe's final years. Yes, every franchise goes through transitions. But let's not twist history. The Lakers weren't erased from existence. They were resetting. That's what happens when legends retire. It's not a funeral, it's a cycle.
Los Angeles Lakers were pretty freaking irrelevant until LeBron James arrived. LeBron James arrived in Los Angeles in 2018 and absolutely positively returned them to relevancy. Listen, I'm not challenging anything that Baxter Holmes wrote, but the fact is that it's entirely plausible that Jeannie Buss may have felt that LeBron James should have been more appreciative. It is the Lakers after all, and that brand means something. It wasn't like he was playing for the Clippers now. It wasn't like he was playing for the Clippers, okay? Lakers is a different brand. We have to understand that. But he still came there, and he delivered. And everybody wants to sit up there and minimize that championship in the bubble. You can't. Lakers had a lot of adversity. Couldn't get right till LeBron James arrived. And it was because his arrival occurred that Anthony Davis's arrival had occurred. It was because of that that the Lakers had a dynamic duo that you could put supplementary parts around and ultimately capture an NBA championship. Yeah, there should have been some gratitude maybe that was shown because the Lakers drafted Bronny James. Sure, you can nitpick about that stuff like that, but LeBron kind of deserved it. His years of service, covering the NBA, no doubt about that. So let's be fair to the brother. Be fair, give credit where credit is due.
Now, the real question hits different. Are we judging LeBron by the same standards we use for every other all-time great? Or are we still protecting the storyline because the tone is finally shifting? This time, it feels different. Look around the league. The Boston Celtics rebuilt. The San Antonio Spurs are rebuilding right now. That's the NBA cycle. But when Stephen A. Smith tells it, the Los Angeles Lakers were some forgotten franchise just waiting for a superhero to land in Hollywood.
Now does Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, talk about wielding their power, whatever? Well, let's pump the brakes on that, please. They do what any agent in their position or any agency in their position would do. If you have some muscle, you're going to flex it from time to time to ensure that your tenure is as successful as it possibly can be. You're going to make suggestions. They're going to be strong-handed suggestions like, you need to do this because if you don't, we're not going to be happy. I'm quite sure those kind of things have happened, but it's not
like banners disappear overnight or something? Let's keep it real. In LeBron James' first season in LA, they missed the playoffs. No spin, no parade. Same result as the so-called irrelevant years. That part gets brushed aside because it interrupts the savior narrative. What actually changed things? The front office pushed all the chips in and traded nearly every key young asset for Anthony Davis. That was the gamble. It worked once. They won in the bubble. Credit where it's due. Banner secured. But after that, instability. Constant roster turnover. Identity questions. More noise than cohesion. Then comes the defense of Rich Paul and Clutch Sports Group. Stephen A. frames it like it's just smart business, flexing influence. Okay, but flexing that influence into the Russell Westbrook trade, reports said Jeannie Buss wasn't thrilled, and now nobody wants to fully claim that move. That's where it gets uncomfortable. Here's the bigger issue. Accountability. Stephen A. talks strong about leadership and power on television. But when it's time to hold LeBron to the same standard as other legends, the energy softens. Instead of critique, it's cushioning. Instead of tough questions, it's nostalgia. Meanwhile, the Lakers are stuck in the middle. The milestone numbers keep climbing. 40,000 points, historic achievements, unbelievable longevity. But does that fix transition defense? Does that stop 20-point blowouts? Does that solve long-term roster flexibility? Those are basketball questions, not branding ones. And critics keep pointing out the pattern. Arrive, contend, win one, trade the future, tension builds, then distance from the fallout. It happened with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It happened with the Miami Heat, even though Miami kept structure tighter. Now in LA, the volume on that debate is louder than ever. The real shift isn't about rings or stats. It's about narrative control. For years, coverage felt one-sided. Now, more voices are questioning the long-term cost of the LeBron formula. That conversation isn't fading. It's growing. Let's rewind for a second. Before LeBron arrived in LA, the Lakers were building the traditional way. Brandon Ingram was developing into an all-star level wing. Lonzo Ball showed real upside as a floor general. Kyle Kuzma was figuring it out as a young scorer. It wasn't flashy, but it was organic. It was patient. It had direction. Was that core guaranteed a championship? No, but it was flexible. It gave the franchise options. It allowed for growth without panic. Then LeBron stepped in and the timeline sped up overnight. The push for Anthony Davis changed everything. Draft picks gone, young talent gone, cap space locked tight. The Lakers went all in on a title window with zero room for error. They hit once. The bubble championship stands forever. But after that, 5 straight years of instability, roster reshuffles, coaching changes, drama cycles, constant what's next bid talk. That's not dynasty energy. That's crisis management. Now here's where it gets tricky. Reports suggested Jeannie Buss wasn't fully comfortable with LeBron's last extension. If ownership felt boxed into a public relations decision instead of a pure basketball one, that says a lot. That's pressure at a different level. This is the LeBron ecosystem. Massive spotlight, massive influence, massive reaction to every rumor. It's sports, business, and entertainment blended into one machine. But here's the tension. The wins aren't matching the volume anymore. Even Colin Cowherd, who defended LeBron for years, sounds different now. He's talking about moving on, floating younger stars like Luka Doncic, long-term, basketball-first, sustainable cornerstones. That's not minor commentary. That's a tone shift. When longtime defenders start entertaining the idea of a reset, public sentiment can flip fast. Yet Stephen A. Smith keeps circling back to, he saved them. Watching that loyalty play out while the results wobble feels tense. This isn't about gratitude, it's about trajectory. Was one championship worth 5 years of turbulence and a future that feels cloudy? That's what LA is quietly wrestling with right now. And here's the irony that makes the whole thing even louder. You keep hearing that the Lakers regressed and LeBron revived them, but when the dust settles, the question isn't whether he revived them, it's whether the revival came with a cost the franchise is still paying today. Revive them to what exactly? A 500 record and a play-in scramble? If any other superstar had this much influence over roster moves, coaching direction, cap flexibility, and the results looked this average, you already know Stephen A. Smith would be on TV demanding changes immediately. But because it's LeBron, now it's nuance. Now it's context. Now it's everybody else's fault. That double standard is loud. Then there's the loyalty angle. LeBron points out he's been with the Los Angeles Lakers longer than any team besides the Cleveland Cavaliers. 8 seasons. That's solid, no doubt. But let's not act like it's carved in marble next to Jerry West. Staying in Los Angeles also lines up perfectly with production deals, media ventures, and long-term brand expansion. That's strategy, not a fairy tale romance. This isn't a love story. It's an alignment of interests. And when interests shift, energy shifts with it. Now we're creeping toward another trade deadline, and the noise is building again. Will the Lakers make a bold move? Hard to see it. Reports hint at hesitation, fear of backlash, fear of headlines, fear of public reaction. If ownership is weighing PR pressure as much as basketball logic, that tells you how strong the LeBron orbit really is. Zoom out for a second. This isn't just Lakers drama. It's about league culture. It's about how much leverage one player can hold in the player empowerment era, when the most historic franchise in the league starts looking reactive instead of proactive. That's a bigger conversation. Meanwhile, fans are expected to keep buying jerseys, filling seats, and believing the next roster tweak will solve everything. But the pattern feels familiar. Big expectations, middle of the pack results, early exits, off-season questions. The script starts to look predictable. Another season of hype, another tight playoff series, another summer wondering if the roster was ever truly built for long-term stability. Colin Cowherd looks like he's spotting the exit sign, while Stephen A. Smith is still holding the door wide open. That contrast speaks volumes. One voice is adjusting with the results, the other is sticking to the original storyline. And when major media figures start splitting like that, you know the temperature in LA is rising fast. Because this is what happens when a superstar's influence grows so big that the lines between player and power broker blur together. The relationship between LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers was always mutually beneficial. LeBron boosted the brand. The Lakers elevated his empire. One side expanded its global reach and business portfolio. The other side is left managing uneven results and an ownership group reportedly feeling off-season pressure. If that's what saving a franchise looks like, maybe the definition needs a rewrite. The throne doesn't look as polished as it once did. The front office feels cautious. The fan base feels divided. The airtight narrative now shows visible cracks. Whether you believe LeBron revived the Lakers or reshaped them in a risky way, one thing is undeniable. The story isn't finished. Another season, another round of speculation, another test of power versus performance. And in Los Angeles, that combination always turns into must-watch drama. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the Lakers situation, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. It really helps the channel grow, and trust me, we're just getting warmed up.